Awesome. Anna, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Yeah.
We'll just go ahead and start over.
Okay, cool.
If that's cool with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. You're back in LA.
Yeah, back in LA.
What second time in about a month or so?
Yes,
right?
yes.
What brings you back?
It was just for leisure.
Just for leisure?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Are you gonna move here?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Last time you were pretty adamant about
I mean, like I was pretty adamant about what? What did I say?
not moving here, I think.
Well, I think like the driving will always be like the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like in New York I have like my community, my support system, my family. So like it would be very difficult to like detach from all of that and come
Right.
here and sort of have to start from scratch and like build a community and friends and support and all of
It
that.
seems like you have a decent network out here.
I do, but like they're also still relatively fresh, you know? It's
Right.
like I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, honestly, I've been contemplating like ideally I'd like to become bi-coastal and I feel like that's what I'm working towards.
We
That's
all
why I
want
keep
that.
taking trips here because I feel like I come here, I meet new people, or I come here, I get more familiar with the area. It becomes less scary, less like
Right.
terrifying, and then like this is normal. I could live here. You know, I feel like
Good.
you have to like visit a place enough times
Yeah.
in order to be like, oh, I could live here. Like New York City, before I moved there, like I spent a summer there with my sister. And that's basically what taught me that like, oh, okay, like I could live here.
I could leave Delaware.
Yes, I could leave Delaware. Well, I always knew I would leave Delaware, but New York wasn't always a destination, actually. So,
Right. Right. So you're from Delaware.
yeah.
You got how many siblings you have?
I have 3 siblings. There are 4 of us.
Okay. And you remind me, you're the oldest?
Not
or-
the 3 out of 4.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You're one of the middle kids.
Yeah.
What do your siblings do?
My brother lives in Michigan, and he does stuff with computers. I don't know exactly his title. My sister lives in New York, and she works at this, like, finance firm.
Hell yeah.
And in their like support like team. I don't know exactly what her title is. And my little sister is in college. She's a senior at
Cool.
University of Delaware.
Awesome.
I'm like doxing my family for you.
Your parents still together?
Yeah, they're still together,
Awesome.
unfortunately. Just kidding.
Just kidding. I just went home for my parents' 40th anniversary.
Oh, 40.
So,
Cute.
Yeah, cute.
Cute. I think my parents also are pretty close to that. They got married in like 1989. But I'm not like a mathematician.
Mine were at 82,
82.
and they were both born in 60, so that makes the math pretty easy.
They're old.
They were 20. Yeah. Well,
Well, actually, my mom is born in 62. My dad is 59. So
okay. So that's like right around
yeah,
the
my
same
parents
age.
yeah.
My mom was like 35 when she had me.
How
But-
old was she when she got married?
22. They were both 22.
Oh, okay. See, they're
crazy.
okay. That's so young. But that was old for the time. Back then,
I think that was normal for the time.
You think so?
Was it old for the time?
I think like back then people got married at like 18 and stuff. Not like old, but you know what I'm saying? It's like on the
Yeah.
older end of like getting married.
Yeah. Cool. So, how you went to college?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
University of Delaware.
Nice. What'd you study?
3 languages. It was my major.
Okay.
Yeah. It's,
Which languages?
Japanese, Spanish, and Chinese. But it's like one major. It's like a little hard to explain where it's like you're studying the 3 languages at different like degrees. So you're not like actually leaving fluent in any of them.
Sounds
So
about
that's
right.
what happened. I picked it because I was like, oh, maybe this would be a good precursor to like go to law school or something. And I didn't go to law school.
Interesting. But you thought about it.
Yeah, I worked at a law firm. Like
Okay.
I was like pursuing that path of
Wow.
life. But then seeing lawyers exist, I was like, this is like really miserable. So
I can't say it's ever something that looked appealing to me. The 80-hour work week. How many hours do they work? Like,
I mean, like, it depends what kind of law. Like, the lawyers I worked with, they were in a corporate law firm. So, like, some of them were working, like, a lot. a lot because there were some workaholics, but some of them were working like, they'll do like their, 9 to 6, and then they're like going home.
Gotcha.
I think it just depends on like what's also happening at the firm. Like during closings, they would be working more, but in between, they'd have like normal days,
right?
Whatever. So,
I did want to talk to you about languages. How many languages do you speak?
Like fluently 2, but I like
are English.
Yeah, English and Chi because I'm originally from Ghana. Yeah.
Originally from Ghana.
Yeah.
You were born there?
Yeah.
Awesome. When did you move?
In 2003, when I was 8 years old.
8 years old.
Don't do that math.
Okay. And you're 35? No, I'm kidding.
36.
That's your joke. Yeah, right. Yeah. Great. So, okay. I'm curious about. So you're a band kid, right?
Yes,
I did a little research. I didn't do a lot of research, but I did a little research.
Yeah.
What came first, music or humor?
That's an interesting question. I guess like humor. I guess like I've always really loved jokes. Like when I was a kid, like I'd go to the library and I would only check out joke books. Mm-hmm. No one ever cared for joke books, but to me, that was like the greatest piece of literature. Like it would be like a book that's like, it looks like a novel. Like if you see me, you're like, oh, this kid reads. No, I'm reading fucking like doctor doctor jokes or like knock knock jokes. I'm reading like a whole like 1,000-page like
classics.
Book. Yeah, the classics. So like I literally have like heard every single joke. Not like obviously there are some new ones people write, but I've heard most jokes. People start telling jokes and I'm like, I know the punchline, but obviously I play along. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Everyone wants the satisfaction of telling the punchlines.
Right.
But yeah, definitely the humor for sure. I've always loved comedy.
Gotcha.
In that aspect.
And what was your first instrument?
My first instrument was the trumpet.
Trumpet.
Yeah.
How long did you play for? Do you still play?
No. I played a trumpet I played it until 7th grade. So I started playing the trumpet like middle of like 4th grade year, just a little bit. And like I played until like 7th grade. 7th grade, I switched to the French horn. And I played the French horn from 7th grade till throughout high school. And then in college, I played the mellophone. I didn't really play the French horn because I didn't join band. Like I didn't join like the concert band.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Did you say mellophone?
Yes, mellophone. It's like a marching French horn. So like, they bow out. If they make the French horn like bowed out straight and it's in like a different key. I guess it might be in the same key. Don't quote me on that. I was always really confused about what key the mellophone was in. Yeah. Which is funny because I was like playing the mellophone. I played it for like 3 years in college and I still could not tell you what key that was in. Because in high school I played I was in marching band as well in high school, but I played the B flat horn. So the B flat horn I already know because the key's in the name. It's been B flat.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting, fascinating instrument.
Yeah.
Unlike any other instrument I've ever played.
Completely unique.
Yeah. It's very unique. I had no idea like how to like translate music. Everything, it was such a mess. Yeah. I was very bad at music for most of my life. And I still think I'm like, okay. Like I'm very bad for as long as I've been playing.
Well, I guess it just depends on how you measure what good music is.
No, like, I mean, it's kind of easy when there's like sheet music in front of you because then it's like play what's on the sheet.
Right.
Yeah, and I simply was not playing what was on the sheet.
I've always been kind of salty about sheet music because I was in jazz band in high school and middle school.
What was your first instrument?
My first instrument was the euphonium. You know what that is?
Yeah, I know what the euphonium is.
I didn't mean it in like a...
No, it's okay. I didn't mean it in
a
like
lot of people don't.
Yeah, I know what it is, yeah. My brother played a euphonium, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like euphonium's a little useless because it has the same range as a trombone, but it doesn't slide. Yeah. And it's not as low as a tuba.
Yeah.
But
it's
whatever.
like a baritone, basically, but the baritone is much more... like useful and much more decisive. It's similar to the B flat horn, where I think back in the 50s and 60s, they just had like an explosion of like random musical instruments, and like a lot of them became rare because people realized that this kind of sucks. It's like the cornet. Like, we don't play the fucking cornet anymore. Right. It's like one of those, like, instruments, like...
The bugle.
The bugle. Yeah, it's a bugle horn. Like, there's so many you can name where you're just like, this is like a fad instrument.
Exactly.
So that's basically what that is.
Exactly.
Let me make sure this thing is recording. Okay, it is.
Yeah, I'm, like, all paranoid now.
No, you're fine.
We'll figure this out. Okay. And when... I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question. When did you start like making content, or when did you kind of realize that you're funny?
That's a very interesting question. 'Cause I think like I personally have never considered myself objectively funny, and I never will. I don't think I'm objectively funny. I think I've always thought I was funny, but in a subjective level. Like you have to be your biggest fan. Like, I've always thought like, oh, like I made myself laugh. I didn't always make other people laugh.
Yeah. So
for me, it's always been like, when I started making content, it's because I thought I was funny and I was laughing at what I was making. And I still think like that holds true for the most part to this day, where like I'm usually mostly the one that I'm making stuff for, because I'm like, this is going to entertain me. And I'm going to look back on this and be like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Because sometimes I do. I'll like watch my own videos and be like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
And so I just wanted to like clarify that I don't consider myself like objectively funny. And that's okay. Sometimes you're just not.
Yeah.
But when did I start making content? I was in college and I joined Tumblr.com. I spent a lot of time taking in content. Like, in high school, I used to like go home and read and literally spend hours on meme base. Do you know what meme base is? Do you know I can has?
I don't know.
Do you know I can has cheeseburger?
I know that phrase.
Yeah.
Or
so,
why or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Or,
so I'll just give you a quick rundown. All your memes belong to
us.
Yes.
Yeah. These are ancient memes, I feel like.
Yeah. No, there's a connection here. So back in high school, and this is all related to like how I ended up making content. Back in high school, in the 10th grade specifically, I ended up going on meme base, it's called, for the first time. So I can has cheeseburger, that meme of like that cat that's like mispronouncing. Those were the early internet memes.
Right.
And they had a bunch of different sites that would house memes. So I can has cheeseburger was a specific site, but related to that was meme base, where users would create like memes off of like the classic like templates, like Velociraptor, Bad Luck Brian. Yeah, like that kid, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Those are still, when I think of memes, those are still I'm kind of stuck there. I never really left. You
need to catch up. There's just so much. So yeah, like basically I started, I would spend hours, literally hours, like it's wild. Like, how can someone spend hours reading memes and laughing at them? That's literally what I did. Like, I'm the type of person where, like, if I like something, I will indulge endlessly until, like, I find the next thing I like. Then I will move on. I don't get tired of things. So I would spend, like, literally for 3 years in a row, like, the rest of high school, I would go home, and I had a routine. I would go home, not do my homework, and then immediately get online. Immediately get online and, like, go read memes for hours until I have to eat or go to bed.
Right.
So yeah, that's like a really weird trait of mine. I don't know why, but so yeah, I did that. And then in college, I got on Tumblr.com. And
you're a big proponent of Tumblr.
Oh, I am. Don't get me.
Let's talk about this.
No, we'll get to that. Let me just explain this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. I like to answer a question before I move on to the next one. But so I got on Tumblr, and then on Tumblr, Tumblr also has a lot of memes and a lot of different types of content. So I would also spend hours and hours on Tumblr, like became obsessed with that. And then I started trying my hand at like making text posts, which is like, that was my first try at like stringing funny words together.
As in like maybe a tweet, but like
it's sort of like a tweet, but Tumblr doesn't give you like the 250 character limit or whatever the character limit is. So like you can make longer posts or shorter ones. So
that's actually what I used to use Tumblr for. It's just like a blog. I would
just like a blog. Yeah, exactly.
Down my thoughts.
I'd like to see your Tumblr. So and then like Tumblr also allows you to embed images interspersed with the text. Something that no platform has still. Not even Facebook. Like no platform has still allows you to do that, where you can like write a paragraph, put an image. Write a paragraph, put an image. So like that, so it's like it allowed for greater freedom of like self-expression, like via text. So then I started making text posts on Tumblr. Then Vine, I got on Vine, and I was like, I watched a lot of Vines. I used to spend hours watching Vines, which how could you? But I found a way.
Did you post?
That's why when I started posting, it's Vine. Vine is when I started making content. Even though I would make text posts on Tumblr, like I used to make Vines so that I would post them on Tumblr. Because I used to not be able to make like a video for Tumblr like that was that short. I don't know. It was just like easier to embed it through Vine. So then I would just like make a Vine so that I would post it on Tumblr.
Gotcha.
And that's when I got started in content creation. Sorry, it was like a long-winded thing, but the backstory matters.
I think it's super interesting. And then... Yeah, Vine is also crazy to me just because it went completely over my head. I didn't even download it. That's how like out of social media I was.
Well, you grew up on a farm, right? Did that like affect your relationship with like technology at all?
I mean, yeah, but I was still on YouTube like in 6th grade and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think, what years was Vine a thing? It was like 2012 to 2016?
Yeah, it was like 2012 to like 2016,
I think I was just more on the consuming end of things when I was on the farm versus like making them.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think most people that use Vine were on the consuming end. And for the large portion of my time on Vine was spent consuming videos.
Well, I just couldn't for the life of me understand how a 6-second video could do anything for anyone. And that's how like behind I was. You know, I just couldn't wrap my head around that.
I think one thing about me is like I always like to be relevant, if that makes sense. Like, I like to be in the know. And that's the thing about Vine is that like I did think it was dumb that like you're watching 6 seconds of videos, but people were making references at it. Like I want to know what people are talking about. I don't want to like sit at a table and everyone is like, road work ahead. I sure hope it does.
Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does.
You know, like I want to know that while it's happening. So like that's also part of the reason why I joined Vine, because it was like I want to see these videos. I don't want to watch a Vine compilation on YouTube like months later when it's like no one's talking about it. So that was part of the appeal for Vine for me.
Okay. I was just about to go somewhere with this, and I forgot what it was.
Wow, you have like, your brain is functioning as if you watched a lot of Vines. It's like, wow, which one of us was really damaged by our content consumption?
Well, this will make sense. I don't know. Do you like the internet?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Like
I mean,
I
think like
the band.
The band. There's a band named The Internet? No way.
Yeah.
Are they good?
Yeah, I don't know them super well, but they're like vibey, I think. I think
I'm sorry, but vibey is not. It's not a measurable. It's not a descriptive word at all. People in LA are trying to make vibe a description.
It's like soulful. Like,
okay, thank you.
I think it's an offshoot of Odd Future. I could be wrong about that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think they really sound like Odd Future.
Oh, okay. See that? So those are descriptive words. I implore young people these days to like try to use more descriptive words. Vibey.
You think I'm young?
Are you not? How old are you?
I was trying to be funny.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Yeah, you're young. Yeah. You're young. I'm 36, so. No, but I do love the internet. I think the internet is, it's a neutral thing. But for me, like, I've mostly had positive experiences on the internet. Like, sorry to the girlies that were cyberbullied. Could not be me. But for me, like, so growing up, my parents were really strict. My parents were just like strict parents. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of normal children stuff, like leave the house. Literally, like, I like leave the house or like go to sleepovers, hang out with my friends after school, like at their house and things like that. Like, I literally had a very strict upbringing.
They didn't want, like, why not?
The why not was like, like my mom immigrating to this country, she just heard a lot of horror stories about like things that happen when like you know kids go to their friend's house. You know, there's just a lot of things that she was like afraid of. We would influence us, but also we would get into what happened to us at other people's houses and stuff. Like, I think her fears, while I'm not saying like her treatment like was justified, I think I can understand her fears.
Yeah.
And I do think like in part I did not get into like trouble and into a lot of shit because partially of my strict upbringing. Like, was it good? I wouldn't say yes, but it did like shield me from like, I think I could have turned out worse, is what I'm saying. But because I wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff. So like one of the few things I could do is like come home and go on the computer. For some reason, the internet was not like, my parents weren't aware of the dangers of the internet. Like, literally, they're like, don't go to your friend's house because you'll be offered drugs. Meanwhile, I'm on the internet where I can order drugs to my house. So, and like, because they didn't really know too much about what goes on the internet, we weren't as monitored on the internet. It's so funny. I wasn't allowed to watch TV during the weekdays at all, but I could come home and spend hours on like the internet. What would I tell them? That I'm doing homework? It's funny. I'm on the internet not doing my homework, but like as long as it was like school related, they were like, this is fine.
Yeah.
So I think I like the internet because like that was my escape from like my life of like so much restrictions on lack of control of like what I could do with myself. So like, yeah, I would come home. I found a lot of internet communities. My first community was on this website called Gaia Online, where you could be like this little anime character in this like world where you could talk to people and like interact with people and play games.
It's like the metaverse. No, okay.
Sorry, that's really funny. Yeah, I guess I was in the OG metaverse. I mean, it's similar to like IMVU or like there are so many other things in that at that time that were like similar. You don't strike
me as a RuneScape.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like if it required like money, which I think a lot.
RuneScape did.
RuneScape didn't require money. Okay, I might have just thought it did and didn't get into it. But Gaia Online was definitely also because I did it because my friend from middle school told me about it, and I really wanted to impress her at the time. Like I don't know why I was so obsessed with like her thinking I'm cool. So because of that, I like would do things that she's like, I'm doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So that's why I did Gaia Online specifically, but it ended up being really fun. Did I make any friends from it? No, but I met a lot of people. I briefly had a boyfriend.
Wow.
And on that, and it wasn't romantic at all. Like it was like actually really scary. In hindsight, like it was like this guy that I met in this chat one time, and his icon was cute or whatever, and he was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I was like, sure. And then like I didn't know, we just like would hang out, and he started like online obviously, and this was all text, like no voice or anything. So he started like sexting me, and I got like really freaked out. How old was I?
I don't know. Do we need to get into this?
No. I was like 12. Like, he started like sexting me on the platform, and then after that one sex session, I literally like transferred everything that I owned from that account to a separate account and never logged back in because I was so afraid. But yeah, there are scary experiences like that on the internet. But largely for me, the internet was like enjoyable and like an escape. So I will always like have love for the internet. Is the internet a good thing though?
It's just a reflection. That's what they say, right?
Or whatever. But also the internet gives bad people access.
Yeah. You don't seem like you get any anxiety from like posting or like, do you get any anxiety like from what you do?
That's a good question. I think I would have to be someone that's a little bit more in tune with myself for that to be able to like even realize that I'm someone who's like very like emotionally detached. Like
that's a good way to be.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily good to be, but like with that in particular, I mean, like something could be bothering me emotionally and I would not know what it is that I'm feeling. So like there's that. So do I get like anxiety from like what I do? I mean, I'm sure I do. I would say, yeah, for sure. Like, I think like any content creator, if I make content, I want it to quote unquote do well, or at least do as well as my other content has. And if it does not, I'm sure like I feel, like bad about that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I get it in the same way that other people get. Like, I would have to like know how, like that would relate to like the anxiety. Like, even if like I post something and it does poorly and I feel bad, that feeling doesn't last very long because then I just move on to the next thing. So I don't know. Sorry, it's like hard to answer like a question that's it's feel or.
I'm just, I don't know. These are the things that I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like with a lot of people I meet, it doesn't take very long for them to tell me that they don't actually like it, and that's just kind of sad to me a lot of the time. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's good to hear.
Well, I mean, like I think, like for example, one of the things that I think doesn't make me hate what I do. Which it's not all that I do. Like I'm a real person who has to work and like do stuff too. But I think what helps is that like I don't do brand partnerships.
Right.
The only thing I'm willing to do is like if the platform that I'm on, like if I say I'm on YouTube and YouTube wants to work with me, wants to do something with me, then like that's fine. But like I don't do brand partnerships. I don't and paid, sponsored posts, all of that. I don't do that. And I think that adds a layer of anxiety when you do engage in that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying like if there's a brand telling me promote this product and I have, there's a mandatory, I have to make a video or a piece of content that involves this, this product, it feels forced. It feels out of my control. And naturally there's going to be that anxiety. Like, is this going to be good enough? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like no one likes an ad. So I think that aspect definitely like will affect a lot of people's like enjoyment of like content creation, as well as people also I feel like behold themselves to like so many invisible rules. And in the past, I myself did that as well, and I've gotten a lot better this year at like not beholding myself to invisible. But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like some people are like, well, I must post every day, or like I have to post once a week, or I have to keep doing this series that I started, and like people hold themselves to these like
I do that and I feel like shit when I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like because like I learned because last year for some reason I told myself like, oh my God, I have to post TikToks on my story every single day. Like, and I did like almost every day last year. When I go through like my story archive, like almost every day I did like a TikTok dump, which if you don't know, it takes hours to like sift, because you have to like I have an intern who sends me TikToks, which is my sister. She always sends me TikToks anyway, so like it's not like her doing anything different, but like I would have to she sends a lot at once. Like sometimes she'll send a batch and it's like 180 TikToks.
God damn.
And I'm gonna watch all of them. I'm not the type of person that just like will watch 5 seconds of something and keep going. Like if a video is placed before me, I have to watch the whole thing, unless like I know like what type of video it is, then I can skip it. But
yeah.
So in any case, I would spend like I was like, oh, I have to post every day. So like I spent so many hours last year just to try to meet this imaginary rule of I have to post TikToks on my story every day, which in hindsight, I'm not getting paid for it. So it's like, I'm literally just like wasting my time to like live up to this like rule that doesn't actually matter. Because at the end of the day, like even if I found that this year I don't post as consistently, like I'll post like maybe 3 times a week, if even. And no, it does not. Like people like it, the fact that I make, the TikTok post anyway. So like, I'm sort of like, why was I like so beholden to these rules that made my life miserable at times?
Yeah.
So definitely that. I feel like content creators give themselves anxiety that they don't need to have because they're trying to follow these like imaginary rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told me last time we hung out something that I think about a lot. And it was that you can either be good looking or funny. And I'm just curious, what are you trying to say about me?
You don't make me laugh that much.
Okay.
Ooh, I can get myself out of difficult situations.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like there's sliding scales.
I just
think once you slide on one scale, you slide the other way on the other. So just think about that. It's like a balance.
Yeah.
So if you're like incredibly hilarious, like everyone in the room dies at everything you say, I hate to say it, you are definitely registering very high on the ugly scale.
No, there's definitely some merit to that.
There's definitely some, like, obviously.
Yeah. Fuck, I keep forgetting where I'm going with these.
I'm telling you, it's like you watched a lot of Vines.
No, I'm just nervous, to be honest.
Why are you nervous? I'm not going to chew your head off,
No.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
You need some words of affirmation. I think you're doing well.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I don't know, I get nervous trying new shit, and I don't like wasting people's time. And
you're not wasting my time. I wouldn't be here if I thought this would be a waste of time.
I
appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Like, it's fun to talk about myself.
Yeah. So. I think, I mean, everyone likes to talk about themselves. Right?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Okay. I'm curious. You've built, like, you have a community, I feel like. What advice do you have for people who are trying to do that, i.e. me?
I think what matters most is just like, I know people always like say this word so much, but authenticity. Mm-hmm. I think that like, obviously I'm going to be playing up my personality a bit more when I'm like recording a video or making content or whatever, but like it still is coming from an authentic place. And I think one thing that helps me also is like, I am relentless. I am persevering, like I made content when nobody cared, when nobody was listening, when nobody, but because like I was making it for myself. I was making it because I enjoyed doing it. Mm-hmm. And even right now where I have like some sort of like a following or whatever, like I still feel like as long as I don't lose that, and I still find the joy and I'm still connected to the reason why I started making content to begin with, then that is what matters. It's really, a lot of it is about authenticity, because these days, I feel like we're fed so many people who are like manicured and like, like they're super, and which is fine for certain times. Like sometimes you want to be entertained by somebody who's not a mess or somebody who gets to the point and things like that. But I think what is missing a lot of these days and a lot of people are looking for is somebody who feels like a person still. Somebody who gets online and is messy, is not, like it's not perfect. It's not like manicured. Somebody who's just like a little like an overgrown hedge. You know, you can appreciate a little overgrown hedge. It gives you some nice shade versus the one that's like perfectly, square. It doesn't really do too much of that. So I think keeping that place of authenticity, and also just like being willing to like not be prideful, I would say. Like, don't let any internet clout change who you are or like what you're doing get to your head. Staying humble, and which is also part of authenticity. Like, just remembering that like you are just like everyone else. What you're going through could happen to everyone else. Like, you could be in, like, there's so many universes and you just happen to be in this one. And so like, just, you know, keeping that going, and also just like meet people. I met so many wonderful people online. Just like talking to people and like making those like connections. People, not just like people who have like following. I feel like a lot of people, like the only people they're interested in like interacting with are like people with like large followings or whatever. But like, just like if you find someone and you enjoy what they do and what they make, and no matter what their following is, if you're able to like have those conversations with them and like build that community that way, that's really how you start building community online. But yeah, just like most importantly, it's just authenticity.
Gotcha.
I may not be perfect, and I may be a liar online, but I am authentic. I am really just like this in real life. People always tell me like I am just like I am online in real life. And to me, that is important.
Right.
Like, that I'm not like, you know, being different. Like, I genuinely am this much of a mess.
What was your first viral video or piece of content?
I guess like my first viral piece of content was like, it was this like meme where I photoshopped 4 versions of myself, and the caption was like, when your professor tells a corny joke but you're trying to get a good grade. And I made it on Tumblr, and then like I screenshot it and posted it on, and I posted it on Twitter too, and I screenshot it and posted it on like my Facebook. And then like it got like, that was like my first like viral. I guess it wasn't like viral in the sense of like millions of people, but like at the time that's what viral was. You know, viral used to mean something differently,
you know,
back then. And then like my first viral, quote unquote, my first viral video, which this one was genuinely viral, was like me playing the piano, and I was like, I call this song College. I call this song College.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
Sorry to your neighbors.
No.
So yeah, just like that video. I do have like an iconic scream. I can scream like horror movie, like blood curdling screams. So,
iconic.
Like, yeah, in that moment, that video did go viral. And there's, till this day, there's still people who like will here and there like reference it, like use a clip of it in their video, or like I saw this girl recently. She was like, I want to say she was Spanish, and she made this video. Esta canción es sobre, I forget what the hell she was talking about, and it's just like, her scream wasn't obviously as, you know,
good,
blood curdling. I don't want to say good. It wasn't as like specific as mine, but you know, like I knew that I informed that, because that video did really well overseas. For some reason, people in like Europe and like Latin America really liked that video. For some reason, I was just like, oh, okay. So
interesting. What is there an ultimate goal for you, or
yes, I would like to take over the world. No. I guess, I mean, like, I have personal career goals. Like, I do like making content, and I do like comedy writing and stuff. Like, I'd love to be a writer. I'd love to be an actor. I've actually been in a few things. So it's like nice. I was in a music video this year. This is a big year for me career-wise. Thank you.
What music video?
The song was called Where Did You Go by Jax Jones.
Okay.
It was on the UK top 10 like
hell yeah.
list. So
congrats.
And I was in the thank you.
Yeah.
And I was in that music video. And I was also in Sherman's Showcase. Is coming out October 26th on AMC Plus. Not me promoting this. Well, I'm in it, so I have to promote it. But I'm in like the 5th episode in a sketch. Like, it's actually like that was like the first time I've been in a TV show. It's like
awesome.
In a sketch. I play this like African mom, and like the sketch is funny, and like that's like, yeah. So I have like personal goals of like acting, and I really want to be a commercial actor. Like most people want to be like, their goal is to like movies and stuff, which that would be nice. I'd love to do that, but like I want to be in commercials. Like I want to be like, you know, like when you're watching like a car commercial and like there's somebody.
Do you want to be Flo from Progressive?
I mean, that's the dream. If I could be, that would be not lovely. But it doesn't even have to be that grand. Like my commercial dreams aren't even that grand. Like I want to be like in a car commercial, the person that's driving the car, or like in a mattress commercial, like I bring you breakfast in bed or something. You're like, I just want commercial roles because they're like, I feel like you get to act, but you get to also remain like relatively like anonymous, which is fun. But also like I want to be in TV shows, I want to be in movies, I want to write TV shows, I want to write movies. Those are my dreams. Good. And I feel like I am actively pursuing them, which is still nice. Yeah. But I don't want my online presence to be the reason why I achieve those goals, which I feel like these days inevitably it is the reason why you achieve like those goals. But like I want to be a writer because I'm good, not because I have like internet clout, you know.
Well, but I mean, you get internet clout from being good, don't you? I feel like they're kind of.
Do you?
Okay, I mean, fair, like but I feel like you.
No, I know what you're saying, and like to some degree, yes, but also like a lot of like internet clout is about personality. At the end of the day, like people do subscribe or follow people, like not just for what they make, but largely for their personality. Especially if you're not making content that is like very specific. Like if I was like a true crime, true crime channel, or like I was making like, like video essays, then it's like not too much about my personality, although that still factors in. But like the kind of content that I make, it's like people inevitably are also there for my personality. Yeah. That they happen to find a connection with. So I want the merits of my work to be because my work is good, not just because of my online clout, which is largely also due to my personality as a person. So yeah,
I feel like in your case they kind of go hand in hand, but you're right. Yeah, it doesn't for everyone.
Yeah, but in any case, I think I will achieve my dreams. Hopefully,
I think you will too.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But I'm working towards it, and I put in the work. Like
absolutely.
I don't think that I don't deserve the things that I'm trying to go for.
But I also don't think that you don't deserve that.
Thank you for the affirmation. My daily affirmations.
Your daily double negative affirmation. Good. I feel like I've kind of touched everything that I want to touch on. Do you have any questions for me, or is there anything you want to talk about?
What is your process like? Like, you're asking me what my process is. Like, what inspires you in the work that you do?
I feel like I have kind of like a complicated relationship with humor because I want to be a musician and write songs. And like I started making the videos because I wanted to promote my music, and none of that like really did well. But I've always watched videos and I like to laugh. So I was like, it seems like we can't really not make content these days. So I guess I'll just try and do this. So what inspires me? I think just anyone who does their thing for like a really long time. Consistency is really inspiring to me. Sorry, I feel like I'm not answering your question.
No, you're fine. Like, what's your process like?
My process, I mean, I identified with a lot of the things you said. I never know when I'm funny, but there are things that pop into my head that I think are funny, or I will just like hear people talking and think that's funny. Usually it starts with a line or something. I mean, there's always a punchline, but usually that's not quite enough. Like I kind of have to build just like a script around it. So my videos aren't super long, but I always write out the script, because if I don't, then I just kind of sit in front of the camera and don't do anything. And it's a waste of time. So, yeah, I get the idea, and then I write the script, and then I film it, and then I edit it as funny as I think I can do it. And then I do it all on the computer so that I can post it everywhere. And that's pretty much it.
Do you take joy in writing the scripts and stuff? Like, do you enjoy that process?
I do. I think I think the work is just very conflicting to me, because I do enjoy it, but it's not music. But it's also, humor is the only thing that I've grown from. I've never really grown from music. So I do enjoy it. It's hard for me when I'm not on a schedule and I'm not creating. I feel like I'm failing. So I guess that's where that anxiety question comes from, because I do unfortunately get a lot of anxiety from posting. But yeah, I enjoy making people laugh, but I think the numbers kind of get in the way of it for me. I wish they didn't, but
I mean,
they do.
I don't blame you. The numbers, it's a numbers game, and
you seem like someone that it doesn't really affect you that much.
Well, I feel like we're in two different time levels of our content creation journey. Whereas
Absolutely.
I've been I was a quote unquote nobody for most of my I feel like only in the last maybe 3-ish years have I sort of broken out of the niche. But I was relatively niche, super niche, or hell, if anybody has ever seen anything I've made, you know what I'm saying? I was irrelevant, I guess that's what you'd say, for most of the time I made content. That was for years. I started making content back in 2013 is when I started making my Tom the Text post. But if you want to talk about video, likely 2015 when I became an RA and I had a room to myself was really when I started making videos like that. So 2015 till it's almost been 10 years since I've been making content. And
that is a long
for
time.
I would say 70% of that time I was not, I was not making quote unquote any numbers but I think, one thing that did alleviate my, my woes was always knowing that even if I worked really hard on this thing and it didn't do as well as I wanted it to, I am capable of making the next thing.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It's always yeah, it sucks and it's bummy, and maybe I can come back later and promote that old thing that I really liked, again. But I just can look forward to the next thing and take what it is that I can learn from this thing about the next thing. And I think you also are making content. You're starting to make content because you're a relatively new content creator.
Yeah.
So you're starting to make content in a time that is awful for content creators.
It's
don't beat yourself up. I'm not even talking about the saturation. It's because, to be honest, being a creative person, it will always be saturated, no matter what time period you're in. There will always be other people who are also creative, equally as deserving and equally as hardworking as you. But I'm saying it's awful as in you're beholden to algorithms. I feel like people like me who were making content early 2010s, at the very least we weren't beholden to algorithms which are deciding whether or not people see our content. So for me, all that I needed to surmise was getting a following. That's about it. All I had to do was grow my following, and naturally more people would see my content. That's all that mattered. But these days, yes, growing a following matters as well, but growing a following does not mean people are going to see or interact or view your content. So you have to be a little less hard on yourself, because numbers, yes, the numbers game is a thing, but also you do not control the algorithms. The algorithms pushing one piece of your content versus another does not determine the worth of that content you made or the worth of this. So it's I know it's hard and it's just words, but really be a little less hard on yourself, because the harder you are on yourself, the worse your anxiety will be. And that will reflect itself in the quality of your work and even in your thoughts, your ability to make further work.
Yeah.
But you're making content in a very unfair environment, you know, and it is easier for people who started, you know, when the internet was younger. But now we have so many algorithms that are incentivized to not consistently push your stuff, because it's sort of like gambling.
It's like a lottery, yeah.
It's like gambling. Like it's like a gambling addiction. Like you win one game, right? And it's like, oh, you get one video that goes viral, it does sort of well. And then that's the high. So then you spend so much of your time chasing that high. And then once you reach that high, it's like, so then it just keeps hooking you. Like they have to like keep you chasing, but then not chasing too long that you lose interest entirely.
Yeah.
Chasing, but then gives you one of that high so that you know that, oh, I can still achieve this high.
I feel like that's TikTok.
Yeah, that's TikTok. But that's also Instagram too. All these,
which has informed everything else.
So again, don't be too hard on yourself. But yeah, you're making content in a very difficult time. I could not. If this was when I started making content, I would probably likely remain in obscurity. I think I just was lucky when I started like getting into the content game. God bless. But like literally, that's like it's not you. It's not what you're making. That's not connecting with people. Because I've seen your stuff, and that's why we became connected. And because I think you're really good, and I think
you're great.
I think let's not get on a compliment match off or whatever. But like, you know, like you're good at what you do.
Thanks.
And just having that confidence in that, and just like keep going, because you do not control the algorithm.
Exactly.
So the best you can do is to keep making your content and not take it so hard when something doesn't do well, because just keep remembering that there's an algorithm to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I feel like that's a good place to end. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
The place is lovely as always.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hang out here a bit. So. Sorry, because it's
all
like
good.
It's like
used to
1:18.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you didn't have other plans for the day.